EA, Electronic Arts, one of the most evil companies in the world. No, seriously, they literally got the worst company award like 4 years in a row or something like that. They are absolutely next level, okay? When Blizzard's Cosby Suite stuff surfaced, even then, EA was still just a strong contender in general to get the award anyway. And now, EA is gonna be seemingly privatized by Saudi Arabia, which is the wildest thing I have heard, honestly, in my life, but I guess oil money works.
It is very difficult to have a positive conversation when it comes to a publisher like Electronic Arts. The horrific things that they have done over the years, the damage that they have done to the gaming industry, so many developers, studios, it really cannot be understated.
Saying damage done to the gaming industry and showing women's football, based, true, and real, okay?
But yes, they are at the top of the gaming industry for a reason. They are very good at monetizing their player base, and more specifically, normalizing horrific microtransactions.
They're not good at monetizing their player base. It's just the average slop normie of sports game players don't literally care. They absolutely don't care. They don't know what gaming is. They don't even know that they technically count as gamers. Most people who play FIFA and whatnot have no idea what gaming is. They're just average people who are like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna buy these shiny pixels for $20. What do I care?
That really got normalized right around 2008, 2009, right around that time with the FIFA Ultimate Team inception. When that got invented, it really spawned what we see today in the mobile free-to-play sphere. That all started with the Electronic Arts. That's why every single year we're always talking about this company in a different controversy or something to do with greedy monetization, because that is what this company is good at. Now, just in 2025 alone, I think a lot of people, when they see a headline with Electronic Arts in it, they just kind of scoff at it and kind of move on. But it's important to understand that EA's CEO earlier this year explained why Dragon Age the Veilguard flopped. And yes, he
By the way, he literally looks like a villain. This dude looks like the guy who's about to unleash a nuke on a city just to save the world from something that only he understands.
Dragon Age the Veilguard flopped. And yes, he blamed it specifically on it not being a live service.
Yeah, he's not joking, by the way. That is unironically how insane this guy is.
We had Respawn Entertainment. They canceled 2 games so they could focus more on Apex Legends and Star Wars. This is just the risk-adverse nature of the AAA games industry that frustrates me so often. And with that headline, with layoffs that...
To be fair, bad move, actually kind of smart though, because let's be real. Can these companies do anything else but do these exact things? Like concentrate on sports ball and Star Wars? No, no. No, they're probably completely gonna ruin anything else they touch.
Transpired after that, we saw that Respawn Entertainment, their developers, said the morale was at an all-time low. Surprise, surprise, no. And then EA canceled the Black Panther game, closing Cliffhanger Games before I think they could even make their first entry. Just wild to invest in these studios and just immediately...
Rumor has that EA is so woke that the Black Panther would be white.
Pull the plug before anything is even released.
Okay, I made that one on the spot, but you have to admit it sounds kind of legit.
It really has been the nature of EA's non-sports games. It's just been constant chaos. And I really don't think that they have delivered in this regard since maybe the early 2010s. That's how long it has been. But since I keep referencing these sports franchises, it's important to understand this has also been a disaster for EA, especially in 2025. We saw Codemaster.
I mean, you call it a disaster, but EA's stock has just been going up and up and up, which is, by the way, really strange in my opinion, because the moment EA lost their license for FIFA, and I think there was something also about Madden. Like, that's a major hit. You need to understand this. The normie sports game enjoyers don't care that EA was making their slop. They're gonna buy the next slop as long as it's just titled FIFA. That's it.
which, might I add, they just got acquired a couple of years ago. EA in the original headlines was saying, we're going to keep it going with all these rally games. No. They confirmed layoffs as EA-owned studio shifts focus away from beloved rally games. There was also EA...
By the way, imagine how stupid you need to be to buy a company that's literally only developing rally games and then be like, okay, we bought the people who make rally games. Now let's get them to make Dragon Age the Veil God. Would have been better what they actually made, though, if they actually did that. But no. I don't understand the stupidity of acquiring smaller studios that literally do this exactly one niche thing, like rally games or badminton games. And then you're like, okay, we're gonna now shut it down and not allow them to make rally or badminton games. That's what we're gonna do.
Putting the Criterion's Need for Speed team on Battlefield, confirming no more content coming to Need for Speed Unbound, and it looks like that franchise will be dormant for the next number of years. Skate finally returned, and that actually, it's got mixed reception right now. With fans dubbing it a gentrified version of Skate 3, everything surrounding the gameplay is a positive. The problem is basically everything else. Ouch. Madden NFL 25, I think critics, users have all just had it with this. It's just not worth the price tag that
Is this AI generated? Probably.
it's being offered at, and you can see that in these reviews. 69 top critic average, only 34% of critics recommending the experience, and many just exhausted by these yearly entries.
That's pretty good for a Madden game, okay? That's pretty good for a Madden game. I ain't gonna lie.
Which just don't do enough to give players a reason to spend the $70, $80 or plus on it. But the big domino that has fallen is EA Sports FC. You know, FIFA, this is the money cow. This is the cash cow. When you've talked about all of the controversies over the years, when you've had, you know, Star Wars Battlefront 2 and how Electronic Arts was trying to handle all of that, this is the one thing that they could fall back on. It was always the Ultimate Team revenue, which was coming from the mobile sphere, but also coming from console sales. It has been the top seller, but it's finally showing life. It's finally showing it is not impenetrable. EA Sports FC 25 flop, spooks investors, sinks stock price. So yeah, Electronic Arts has been in...
Not true. I looked at EA stock before this. There's no problem.
They are in trouble. Their non-sports franchises...
Well, obviously when you get acquired, the stock goes up because of reasons, but still.
Haven't delivered in over a decade, and their sports franchises are starting to hurt. All of that makes a lot of investors and everybody just get extremely nervous about investing and being part of Electronic Arts and having them in their portfolio. That's why it just doesn't come as a surprise that the Saudi Arabian government is one of those few companies that has been circling the waters and thinking about making a move with them. And we've heard the Saudi Arabian government in the gaming industry, they've made a number of moves already. They were originally going to make a massive stake into the Embracer Group. That sale fell apart, but we've known for a while now that they were planning some big splashes. This is a news story we talked about in 2022. I remember talking about it on the channel, the fact that they were going to be investing $40 billion. And a lot of people were wondering, where is that money going to go? Well, now we know it appears to be, at least some of it, Electronic Arts. $55 billion EA buyout hands Madden over to investors, including Saudi Arabia and Jared Kushner. And if you're not aware, Jared Kushner is...
That is the Trump family, yes.
Part of the Trump family. He is the son-in-law to President Trump. So yes, the president...
By the way, don't worry about it. The like multi-billion dollar, you know, plane that was given to them by Qatar complete. Everything's fine here. Don't worry about it, okay, boys?
President Trump and Saudi Arabian government have a hold over Electronic Arts and all of their franchises. That is just a crazy headline to say, not something I ever expected, but here we are. And it should be noted that Silver Lake, I think people are concentrating on the Saudi Arabia Jared Kushner angle a lot up for obvious reasons, but Silver Lake is a private equity company, and that just, it has me concerned. We have seen how the private equity companies have totally destroyed the gaming industry and various franchises by pushing for over monetization. Like, I remember when everybody freaked out about Bethesda Game Studios doing all these live services, Fallout 76, Wolfenstein Young.
By the way, completely not true. Private equity firms are probably the only things that are well, I guess excluding JP Morgan's, are the only ones that are gonna actually, take over a franchise and effectively not vocify it. Like when BlackRock takes something over, it's over. When Vanguard takes over something, it's over. When all of these firms take something over, it's pretty much always over, right? But not for private equity firms, the ones that you cannot get into, no matter how hard you try and how many emails you send them. I wish they fucking answered me, but they don't, assholes. In any case, no, this is probably gonna be a good thing for actually, keeping good stuff good. To be honest, this is probably and ironically the best thing that could happen because Saudi Arabia is at the bare minimum not gonna be exactly woke now, are they? Okay, listen, they still do capital punishment beheading, okay, and they really like that stuff.
Blood. They, doubled down on ESO, and there was a couple of others that got canceled and such. People were like, why is Bethesda doing that? There was a massive private equity behind all of that. They were trying to juice up, their profits and everything, so a company like Microsoft would
I have no idea how they actually how does he mean all of this? It's kind of not clicking in my head, but okay.
swoop in and buy them, and that's what ended up happening. But obviously it ruined those franchises and ruined the entries that we were getting. That is just one example of private equity just in the gaming sphere. Outside of that, we've seen how private equity can hurt so many other companies, but specifically Silver Lake, PIF, and Affinity Partners will take the gaming giant private. EA is going private. I don't think that is
also was Silver Lake like one of the bigger ones? I think Silver Lake was pretty fucking massive. How big is Silver Lake? What a Silver Lake the try equity firm, because Silver Lake is a city. Silver Lake is a massive global technology investor managing over 110 billion in combined assets and combined capital as of late 2024. The firm has a history of closing multi-billion-dollar funds such as Silver Lake Partner 7, which closed at 20.5 billion in May 2024. Beyond its largest flagship fund, Silver Lake also operates specialized vehicles for different market segments. That's probably an extremely fancy way to say that they invest in weapons for war, which always makes a lot of money. Okay, go watch Shark Tank or whatever that shit is, and every time someone just even remotely says future development for the army, they're all like, oh, I'm buying. Future weapons industry possibilities, I'm in. All of them love that shit, okay?
necessarily a bad thing. Going private means that you're not having to deal with all of, publicly traded companies deal with a lot more headaches. But the problem is that the companies that are going to be running this behind the scenes, I just don't know if they're really going to be caring about creativity and innovation and quality experiences. They're going to be focused on monetization, microtransactions, the one thing that Electronic Arts already does way too much of.
Good. Maybe they're gonna push sports ball fans even further down the pipeline. I'm okay with that, honestly. I could not care less. How much is a touchdown, by the way? How does the score get tallied in American football? I have no idea. Please, someone explain. I actually want to know. Does getting the ball to the end actually matter that much, or I mean, is it a meme? Like, what are we talking about here? In any case, boys, remember, like and hype up the video if you're on a mobile device. I greatly appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. It takes you less than a second, and I am very, very thankful for all of you. Truly, I am. This is a very small thing from you, but it means a lot to me. So thank you, everyone. And if you think the stuff that we are talking about is important, then we'll definitely like and hype the video right now, because I can guarantee you, more people will see it if you do that. In any case, thank you, everyone.
But yes, Electronic Arts has announced it is being acquired and taken private in a $55 billion deal involving Silver Lake, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, and Affinity Partners, which is founded and led by Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. The deal is expected to close in the first fiscal quarter of 2027 and is subject to approval, blah, blah, blah. That stuff's going to go easily along the way. And if approved, it will mark one of the biggest buyouts of a publicly traded company. The transaction will be funded by a combination of cash from each of these partners, as well as a rollover of the Saudi Arabia's existing stake in EA, which I think was around 10%, constituting an equity investment of approximately $36 billion and $20 billion of debt financing. People have not really been concentrating on this part, but EA is going into debt. They are putting themselves into debt to make this deal happen, taking on $20 billion. And the question now is, how are they going to come up with that $20 billion? And many theorize that we're going to see many more jobs being lost, mass layoffs happening pretty much, and maybe even more monetization, more live service push to make up for that money in the next coming years. But yeah, this is going to be solely committed by JP Morgan, $18 billion of which is expected to be funded at close. Each of PIF, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners plan to fund the equity component of financing entirely from capital under their respective control. And as it is noted in this article, look, Take-Two Interactive already has Saudi Arabia as the same group. They have invested a little bit into it. Nintendo, Capcom. Saudi Arabia is coming. They are making a big hold on the gaming.
I mean, all of these places are investing in gaming, obviously. Gaming has boomed as a financial tool.
Industry. What sort of influence or pushes could we see from Saudi Arabia? Unclear at the moment. But we did see an actual...
None. Roughly none.
Statement coming from EA's CEO Andrew Wilson, and he said some stuff that it's just one of those moments of, do you think we're really that dumb? Do you think we're really that stupid? He said the company's values will...
I would absolutely assume yes. He definitely thinks we are that dumb, if not even way fucking more dumber. This Andrew Wilson is insane.
Will remain unchanged. Yeah, nobody believes that. As well as their commitment to...
I mean, is that a bad thing? Is EA changing actually a bad thing? I mean, let's be honest. How worse can it get? It's like Ubisoft saying, oh, sadly, we're firing all of our head developers and executives and replacing them with a lottery fucking system. I mean, how worse can it be?
Players and fans around the world following sale to Saudi investment firms. The moment is a recognition of your creativity. They're saying this to developers. This is what EA CEO Andrew Wilson. Your innovation and your passion. You have built some of the world's most iconic IP, created stories that have inspired global communities, and helped shape culture through interactive experiences. Everything we have achieved and everything that lies ahead is because of you. The only thing that this deal has done is probably lined up the pockets of many wealthy investors, as well as EA's executive leadership, which are all C-suite individuals that are just going to go from being multi-millionaires, are going to make even more multi-millions from this deal. Our new partners bring deep experience across sports, gaming, and entertainment. They're committed with conviction to EA. They believe in our people, our leadership, and the long-term vision we...
Oh god, this is so much fucking bullshit, okay? Whoever wrote this is just... I mean, there's PR work, there's PR statements, and then there's this thing that probably got cooked by 10 different PR companies at the same time and approved by 10 more.
Are now building together. Our mission at EA to inspire the world to play continues to guide everything we do.
I mean, still looks less fake than the, Discord conversations from the Charlie Kirk assassin, though. Gotta say that, though.
Values and our commitment to players and fans around the world remains unchanged. I don't know what these values are. These values just being extremely greedy with...
Yeah, it sounds about right. I was gonna say probably greed.
Over monetization, because that's the only thing that EA is known for today, as well as killing studios and firing many developers in record years. With continued rigor and operational excellence, we can amplify the creativity of our teams, accelerate innovation, and pursue transformative opportunities that position EA to lead the future of entertainment. We'll see about that. We really will. And we did see this article coming from Forbes' Paul Tassi. Thought it was interesting. One, it does include a statement coming from Jared Kushner about this deal, who says Electronic Arts is an extraordinary company with a world-class management team and a bold vision for the future. Again, I don't know what this bold vision of the future is. I've admired their ability to create iconic, lasting experiences, and as someone who grew up playing their games and now enjoys them with his kids, I couldn't be more excited about what's ahead. And it goes on to mention that a big question is what will change with EA's annual sports catalog and enormous monetization pathways like Ultimate Team. If anything, it's not going away. The curiosity is how much worse can it get, or could it get? EA has attempted to replicate those kinds of profits with other genres, and
I mean, remember when Blizzard had loot boxes? How we thought that it's bad then? And then Blizzard got rid of loot boxes for Overwatch, and players were dreaming about getting loot boxes back because the new system was just that much worse. Imagine just playing a game and being like, "Oh God, I wish they brought back loot boxes because the alternative is just worse."
what potential outcome of this move and accruing that debt could be pushing that further in both these games and others. Battlefield Ultimate Team has always been their long-term vision. That is actually what they have talked about extensively from their executives over the years. It's just they never could make it happen. And I would not be surprised that they take another swing at it, especially say if Battlefield 6 ends up being successful, give it about a year or so and they just start implementing those tactics and those mechanics slowly. And I feel like that would be the way that they probably would do it. And the same way I think with the greed that they've done with Apex Legends over the years, I think a lot of it's just start out the launch good and then bring in the stuff later. One theory presented by Wedbush analyst Michael Pachter is that this move will come with a big push into mobile, where EA has not carved out a significant space, although they have kind of with their EA FC entries. Apex Legends Mobile, for instance, was launched in 2022 and closed in 2023, tanking in players and revenue. And yeah, I mean, we all expect that there's going to be more monetization, especially with the debt. It's just the question of where it may come from. But look, the video game industry, as we know it, is having a meltdown over this deal. Many very concerned about what this deal could have moving forward. Kotaku noted some of it. Mike Bithell saying back in my...
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of don't care at the end of the day because it's sports games and it's the future of BioWare, technically. That's literally on this line here. And I'm not gonna lie, again, like, the Saudis are not gonna fucking allow Dragon Age the Veilguard to be made. Say what you will, but I mean, the Saudis would never allow Veilguard to be made in the first place because that's just anti-money. You just literally made a game that's anti-money. Kinda insane. Okay? So, technically it's good. This is probably the best news that we have had for the future of Mass Effect 5 ever.
Day EA bought things and dismantled them, not the other way around. Luke Plunkett, games journalist, saying this feels catastrophic in ways few other big industry deals have. Chris Bratt saying Jared Kushner, the PIF, and $20 billion of debt being dropped onto the balance sheet. This one feels mega grim. And yeah, well, this effing sucks. I really don't think people realize just how bad the Saudis and Trump's nephew, not his nephew, controlling the stable of IP held onto by EA is for the art form. If you think mainstream gaming was stale before, now it's going to be owned by the most conservative people on the planet too. And I will say,
wait, that's good. That sounds really good. This is what I mean. This is probably some woke lunatic saying, "Oh, this is bad. They're not gonna allow me to establish my trans identity in the next Dragon Age game." Yes, I would call that a win.
that is a point to bring up. Saudi Arabia, very conservative in terms of their values. We have not seen that influence so far spread over to these companies. Like, they have had some other opportunities to do so. The only thing we have seen is like Cristiano Ronaldo. We'll talk about that later on. But yeah.
Allah, please understand, it's Ronaldo. That is one of the best ones out there. But Allah, please understand, it's Ronaldo. That's such a good one. And Allah's like, point. That is hilarious.
I think that's the question a lot of people have right now. Are we going to see that influence in terms of progressive?
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, listen, boys, I'm not gonna lie. I'm okay with getting another Bellata. Bellata is my waifu cum dump, okay? She is insane in the membrane. She probably has a barely functioning IQ, but her hips were made for one thing, and it's beautiful.
Themes and stuff like Dragon Age the Veilguard, notorious for its controversy with the progressive elements that were within that game and some of the customization options. Is that something that Saudi Arabia will be okay with? We have seen them ban many games for even.
Again, stop selling me the idea that Saudi Arabia taking over EA is a good thing. Because it seems like it is, honestly. The more you think about it, the more you understand, wait a minute, this means no more bullshit. So I think that's a massive win. Anyway, that was Legacy Kill HD, 10 out of 10. Bye.